we have here? It's a streamer, it's a DAC, it's a DAC streamer, it's a DAC streamer preamp. It's kind of whatever you need it to be, except maybe a coffee maker. It's yet to make a single cup, which is kind of disappointing. What DAC, you ask? Well, it's an ES9028, so nope, it doesn't have 12 9039s inside or 500 op amps, but it does have the Cambridge sound that I've really come to enjoy during this review, and with my main reference integrated being down at the repair center for months, it's allowed for a lot of hours of listening prior to putting words to this video today. Mind you, the Cambridge sound I mentioned isn't just the DAC sound either, it's really the entire architecture of this design. End of the day, it sounds really good and I dig it. Will you dig it? I honestly think so. So what is this used for streaming? This is likely the most important part that I'm going to cover today. It uses the 4th generation of Stream Magic, which in the simplest terms is absolutely simple to use, and in my experience over the last month, rock solid. And when I say rock solid, I'm talking kind of a wide range here. Network performance, bugs, drops, basically all the things that impact your day-to-day usage. It supports Tidal, Qobuz, and Deezer, along with internet radio, as well as Spotify and Tidal Connect. This one might please a few. We do get Google Cast and AirPlay too on this one. I'm not a big user of AirPlay, but as I've witnessed in my comment section in some other videos lately, the missing service is of great importance to a lot of people. So good news, I guess, it's here. A notable that is missing here for myself, and that'd be Amazon. I'm personally a Tidal and Amazon Music subscriber. Direct integrations are a bit far and few between for Amazon integrated services, but it can be noted that some of the competition does offer it. So possibly something we could see added during a future firmware update. The CX100 does support Rune as well, and I want to ask the community on this one. Who out there is using Rune? I'm honestly curious on your opinions on it. It's one of the few services that I've yet to demo, but every once in a while I get some curiosity for it. Anyways, down below, let me know how it's working for you, good or bad. Basically, is the service worth it on top of your other streaming services? Getting back to the Stream Magic software, it's not the most feature-heavy option. No EQ, no room correction, no endless menu structure for settings that you're likely Googling to determine what what you're even adjusting. This one could be described as cleanly laying out all your services. You can fine-tune it within your settings to only display what you use, and then you're off. It just flat out works from here. It's what I would consider the simplest and maybe fastest streamer to get you to the music. I've said this before, but the number one important factor with a streamer making it in this market, in my opinion, is the ease of use. Streaming audio should be dead simple. It's all about opening up endless libraries of music to users and removing the complexities of physical audio. Not knocking physical media, I like it too. But if the software is overly complicated through connections, unreliable as far as disconnects, or just in general slow, people are going to move on to something that works better. I need to note that this isn't the only player in the game doing it right. Weem comes to mind with good software, not as simple as this, but that's both a pro and a con. I also have to mention Eversolo here as well. They do a pretty fine job on their offerings in this space too. I can put all of these into the S tier as far as, they're stable, they're well thought out, and they plain work. I used to feel the same way about Blue Sound, but they've sort of lost their way with me. The software didn't have the massive feature sets of a Weem or Eversolo, but it also didn't have the simplicity and ease of use that we get here on this Stream Magic platform. And then there's Play-Fi. How certain brands keep using this, I really have no idea. Giving you guys a little tour of the software over my phone, you can see how simple the menu structures are. Simple shortcuts to get you to your music services, and really nothing in the way of playing the music. I have the unit connected to my wireless network, and as you can see, track changes are really snappy, very minimal lag on this unit for any of the playback tasks. If we quickly dive into the settings menu, we see a few important points: standby modes, sleep functions, control bus, which is this cable here that connects the streamer to the amplifier. Think trigger as it powers it on and off, but in addition to that, it also controls the volume between the two. We also get preamp modes depending on your use cases and firmware updates. From there, it's pretty much just network settings and time zones. You honestly won't have to mess with any of this in most cases. You simply power this on for the first time, enter your Wi-Fi info, download the newest update, and you could be playing music a minute later through a service like Tidal Connect. If we turn it around, most of our needs are met: XLR and RCA analog outputs, coax and optical for a connection to an external DAC of your choosing, a matching pair of inputs for bringing in digital signals. We got USB-A for your external library of music, USB-B for connecting to your computer, Ethernet, which in most cases would be my preference, but the wireless has been fantastic on this device so far. And next you fall into two camps. The one that wants HDMI on everything. I generally live in this space. I feel like HDMI sort of bridges the gap from dedicated 2-channel to a device that can easily live within your entire entertainment space, TV included. Some out there won't mind its absence, and I get that too, but it's hard to argue that it's not required in 2024 when so many other products have started to feature it. And before you say it that you can, connect your TV over optical, I'm well aware of that, but you will miss out on the CEC functions. If it's living in your TV space, it's nice to control things with a single remote. If you guys, gals could, please consider commenting, liking, subscribing, posting your favorite recipes. It's all good. I always appreciate all of that, and it makes a huge difference to my channel. You guys have been really awesome this year, and I always appreciate the support. You might not have noticed this when we were looking earlier, but I really appreciate the upside down labels on the rear, because really the only time that we're not reading these upside down is when you first pull it out of the box. It's just a nice touch for the user experience. And touching on that user experience once more, if the support is anything like the context I've dealt with so far within the company, it says a lot to me. It really feels like good people making good products here, and that's always good to see. Taking a little closer look at the unit, it sports a very similar metal chassis to the previous version. I don't know, looking back at the pictures, it may be the same one, but it does have some notable upgrades to it. For one, the screen went from 4.3 inches up to 4.8, and the bigger thing here, and what I've read about, I haven't compared it because I didn't have the old one in, but it offers a much better resolution. They also got rid of some of the clutter on the front as far as the buttons go. I really like what they kept on the front. Simple track controls, which I prefer over taking up real estate on something like a touchscreen. And then over on the right, we have 3 more buttons for navigating some of the menu structure. And I almost forgot, you can cycle the home screen here, which will get you the VU meters that you probably desire, as well as a clock beyond the standard track artwork. I think they added that on a future update at some point. It wasn't in the initial release on this one. The quality of the unit is as expected at this price point, and I can't really knock anything here as far as how the actual unit looks. I wouldn't complain about maybe a little bit larger screen, but truth be told, unless the screen is really, really large, it's mainly for show and navigating menus. But do I still want the screen? Yes, I absolutely do. No remote included on this one, which isn't uncommon these days for whatever reason. I think it's around $30 if you feel the need beyond your phone app. I personally would have felt the need, but luckily the CXA81 that I also have in for a review does include the remote in question, and it can control both of these items. The remote is what I would call a dad remote. It has all the buttons, all the controls, and it does have one slight annoyance for myself anyways. When I'm working the remote, I have this tendency to change the music service rather than adjust the volume. Maybe it's just me, but for whatever reason, my thumb gravitates to the menu controls rather than the volume above and below it. Like I said, it's a remote that pretty much covers everything, and as you can see by the markings on it, it's made to control all of their products. So if you keep everything within the same Cambridge family, it's likely this is going to be the only remote needed to run your entire system. This one isn't for the person who needs 40 menus of settings, a touchscreen, a headphone amp, or the person who wants razor sharp characteristics that can in some ways ruin many of the rougher recordings that we enjoy. It's a sound that pleases the ear and just feels a bit more reined in than some of the streamers in this price bracket, like the DMPA-6. If I was shopping this one for myself, I can't really suggest moving this to an external DAC in this case. I would keep it just how it is, in the sense that I don't want to lose the loosely termed analog sound that this one seems to output. The CXN100 isn't going to have it all. I noted some connection changes around HDMI, some missing services, and even things like EQ. But what it does do extremely well is deliver music in the simplest fashion without delay. This might be the perfect buy for someone looking to get into streaming audio, but doesn't want any of the complications behind it. New tech and features is a lot of fun, but many people don't want to be bothered reading forums and researching how to best utilize something. They just want something that works and works every time without interruption. I'm about as picky as it comes when using streamers, and I honestly can say that this is something that I could use on a daily basis. It's user-friendly, the entire family can operate it. It sounds really great. I don't think you're going to be disappointed unless you're expecting it to cook dinner too. Talk soon. Later.